What's up, YouTube? Hello, and welcome back to Bite Size Security. My name is Jimmy, and it is now officially post OSCP exam. And this is the time for me to reflect a tiny bit on that exam and how it went. Of course, you guys know I'm not allowed to talk about it too much, and I can just share with you a bit how it went. So let's cut to the chase. I did not pass, but very differently from the last time. And that is why I'm not angry or disappointed or anything. I'm actually quite happy. The last time it was a matter of me not having all the knowledge and the methodology and just not knowing enough things to tackle the exam. I wasn't good enough. This time I wasn't fast enough. So that is a lot of progress because the exam was much harder and I did much better. I got access into various machines, I exploited some, I just didn't fully finish with getting domain admin on the Active Directory. You're not supposed to take 24 hours to do the OSCP, but I did, and I still didn't have enough time. So what does that mean? It means I have to now practice a lot more. I finished the course on CPTS, that is what I wanted to do, and that was supposed to prepare me quite well with the knowledge. And then you obviously have to do the labs and the boxes that we're doing and the labs I've done, but now it's just getting more practice in. I haven't done all of the labs, but yeah, now it's just practice, hacking more, and just seeing as many systems as possible so that whenever I get faced with a new concept during the exam, I don't take as long to implement it. And this is something I am repeatedly making a mistake with, and that just comes with experience. So now I just need to hack more. So yes, that's the thing. I did not pass, but that's okay. I'll have it in the bag next time. We're falling forward and never backwards. With that being said, today we are covering a Proving Grounds box, and I will show you here which one. We are doing Access, and we did Twiggy and Exfiltrated. By the way, the response on Exfiltrated was amazing. You guys loved that video. And Help Desk we cannot do because OffSec is not fixing that, and that's okay. We'll just skip it. So we'll do Access. This is an intermediate box ranked by them, and the community says it is very hard. So let's go on with Access. So the VPN is running, so let's do what we always do. We're going to do prep nodes. No, let's first go into Proving like so, and then do prep nodes, P like Proving Grounds, and then Access like that. And then we go into boxes and we have Access. Now I have run the recon already because it's Active Directory and it takes ages. So let's just open Access like this. No. Yes. So here. Access like this. And then let's start with the recon. Here, let's just go to Access and then External. So we're in the right directory. And you guys will be wondering how I do that to navigate through the folder the way I do. Whoever finds out, let me know. And if you guys want me to make a video of it, I can. But for now, let's get on with the recon. So we'll start with the, oh, actually, while we do that, let's also run ROScan, scan VIP, and we call it ROScan. And then let's also add this to a host file, access.offsec. Like so. All right, so we'll start with the UDP, then the quick TCP, and then the full TCP. And let's look at it. No, we'll do that later. And then we're going to go into enum and copy this one quite a few times to make a few more notes for the various ports, because there's quite a few of them. Let's delete SSH because we don't have SSH, and let's just get on with it. MSRPC, like this, MSRPC, and then SMB. There's a few things I've changed in my methodology. You will see as we get to them, if we get to them. But with one, we definitely will, and I'll explain when we're there. NetBIOS SSN, of course. Let's just take that one more time because SMB will have in the template as well. LDAP, ports like that, and then here nothing, another LDAP, and then 445 Samba, like that, and then K passwords. This, and then all of the RPC ones. Yeah, here. And then that one. And that one. And this one. Like so. Let's collapse these already. And then we do DNS. Oh, actually, let's do this, and then this, and then MSRPC. Then we're gonna do DNS. You can hear the birds in the background. It's a beautiful early spring day and the sun is coming out. When the sun is out, I'm happy. So we've got no nmap here, but we are M. So this is always important to recollect when we have access to remoting. And then what else do we have? We have nmap for the port 80. We have Kerberos on port 88. Like this. And then we have the UDP ports. Network time protocol. Let's say UDP. NTP, and then UDP DNS. Let's first copy this one. And say UDP like that, DNS, and then Kerberos. And here as well. UDP. This is part of the recon that will always be the same. Also during the exam, this methodology helps me a lot to get the recon done. It takes me about half an hour to do the recon on everything, have the scans ready, then take a little break, and then tackle each machine or network. And it's just very, very, very smooth. Sorry about that. So with the recon done, let's now go. Oh, actually, let's take Rustscan. Yep, like this, and paste it here. Okay, another thing that will change in my methodology from the previous videos is that I will enumerate chronologically in here as I need it. So let's say I'll do DNS, and DNS is the attack vector. I will then go deep into DNS until I'm stuck. And I won't do all of the others first unless it requires me to do that. Okay, so like for example, now I'll do DNS, then I'll go to HTTP, and if HTTP is the way forward, then I'll do that, and I won't have to really touch on the others unless later it asks me to go with SMB, let's say. Then I'll do that too and enumerate shares. It keeps my methodology shorter, more concise, and to the point, and also the videos shorter. But anyway, so let's do DNS. So what do we do when we have DNS? Let's go down here and kill this pane. Let's do DNS any. Wait, let's go here and do enumeration. What just happened? Like that. And then DNS any access.offsec, the domain, and the IP address, which is this one, and paste it here like so. Another thing that will be different is that from now on I will take the command I execute, paste it into my nodes like this, but of the output I'll take a screenshot. So for example, here I will also do AXFR to check for any zones, and then of both I'll just take a screenshot and paste that here. Of course, this I will then also copy as AXFR. I could now also do a DNS enum, DNS recon, whatever command you use, but there's nothing really here. You can see there's nothing interesting in DNS. So let's go to port 80 and yeah, go to Deerbuster and go up, GoBuster, not Deerbuster, and paste this here. What is also going to change, and I'm going to do that now, is I will no longer use FOF. I will use DeerSearch, or at least I'll try and use DeerSearch. Actually, let me do this directory, and there is going to be another one. Oh, damn it. Files, and then let me take this like this and copy it into the template. Like so. And the reason for that is because I don't like the output that FOF gives me. I don't like the fact that you have to use T to output to a file. It's just cluttered. It doesn't look nice if you then after go through the output. It's just not my style. And yeah, I chose to go with DeerSearch because I've seen good things, and you will understand in a second. So let's get on with that. So GoBuster we've copied over. Nikto, let's just get done with this and then we'll run this search. The screenshots, obviously as well, we will run burp. And we'll open a Firefox window and browse the website and route everything through burp. Like so. And then here, so we'll go to access.offsec. Oh, sorry, HTTP access.offsec, like so. Right, so we are now on this website. Let's take a screenshot. Go back into our notes. And then finally, we'll do whatweb and paste that here. And while we then fingerprint, we will run two things. We'll run dir search -u http access offsec. Yeah, that's it. -w. And then opt checklist discovery web contents directory lists. Because it's Windows, we can just do lowercase and do the small one. Then we'll look for some extensions. We'll do PHP, we'll do TXT, we'll do HTML, HTM. We'll also, these are commas, not full stops. And we will also do ASP and ASPX. And then we'll output this to scans 80 GoBuster, but we'll call it dir search and dir. And then down here we'll do the same, but we'll call that one files. We'll remove the extensions and we will just look for raft and some files. The reason why I want to go with dir search now is because it also supports recursive brute forcing, which is one of the value propositions of FF, and I like that. And you can see the output is just clean, it just works. The extensions also, it just works and it's just clean. I like it. While that is running, let's browse the website. Okay, so we have different menus, but they're all on the same static page. Contact. We have an input box. Is burp running? Let's go to history. Let's kill all of this. Clear the history. And refresh the page. There you go. Let's delete this. I only want access. Let's add this to the scope. Yes. And from now on, it will only collect access. So let's type here. Let's say, hello, tester at testing.com. Please subscribe, like, and share the video. Send message. Unable to load PHP email form. Okay, so static page with a contact box that is not working. Let's go up and collapse the curl. Go down and write enumeration. So we are dealing with some sort of event management page, a mostly static page with a contact form that does work. The main functionality subscribe works. Did it do something? Okay, the contact form doesn't work and subscribe also doesn't work. The main functionality is this big red button. Let's click it. And then we can buy a ticket. Let's be humble and go for premium access. And we can buy a ticket, give a name, tester, an email, testing@test.com, and upload an image. Okay, so let's go on Google and look for a dog. Let's do file type, JPEG. JPEG usually works, and do dog. And then let's save this one into workspace, proving grounds, boxes, access, enum, external. Let's create a folder, call it uploads. And this is a JPEG, and let's call it dog. Like so. Let's collapse this, and let's take this dog. Let's purchase. Okay, so this. The main functionality of the website is for us to buy a ticket. We have to upload an image, provide a name and an email. If we do that, we get the following response. So we're first testing how the website behaves normally. Let's look at the post. Yeah, here. This is normal behavior. Like that. Okay, now let's upload a .txt and .php file and see how the server reacts. Okay, this is done. It found ticket.php. And just look how smooth this looks. Where it finds something, it automatically redirects and gives us the link. And also the output will be glorious. There, clean. I like that. I like that a lot. Like so. And then here as well, like so. But I'm not going to save that because I don't want to override. Oh, actually, doesn't matter. So let's open a new pane. Let's go on CD access upload. we've got the dog, and let's do touch test.text and touch test.php. Then let's do echo hello world, put that into test.text, and then let's also do echo and then open PHP echo hello world, and then close the PHP, and this will be code. So if it prints hello world, then we've got code execution, and then post that into test.php. right? We create sample test files and try uploading them. Okay, let's go back. And by the way, we saw here that we get a uploads file, a folder. So let's duplicate. No, it's not. Let's just go. Let's just go on this beautiful output here and just click there. There you go. Much better. But it will do it Brave, and I don't want that. Like that. So we got a file here, we can navigate to it, so a file upload will be easy to access to get a shell later. So let's upload. First, tester. Let's upload the tester text. And let's upload the PHP. Like that. Okay. Let's, however, take a screenshot of this. And then also go into Burp and see what we have here. This is the text upload. And that obviously worked. And then we've got the PHP upload. And that did not work. So let's annotate them as so. Let's say upload test.text and upload test.php. We are allowed to upload text files. However, there is some sort of extension security or extension block security mechanism that blocks certain extensions. So first things first, let's try and fuzz. Maybe .php is not allowed, but different PHP extensions are. So let's go into my notes, file upload attacks, and take the PHP extensions link, come here and browse that just so that you guys see. Let's take these. Let me do this. Send that to intruder. Payloads. Paste these. Don't URL encode them and run the attack. And with that, we're going to see if any other upload is allowed. We can then filter for the length and see where the length is different, and these have worked. So let's take a screenshot of this. And then say, let's fuzz to see whether, I never know if, whether different types of PHP extensions are allowed. And indeed, some worked, and we can see them here. X00, but it doesn't really do anything. I don't remember why. What would be? Oh, okay. It's not just X00. It's it's backslash X00, and that would nullify the. That would comment out the PNG, the extension. So these don't work. It is escaping. And then here, it also doesn't work because it's adding 25 there. So both of these techniques don't really work. But what else does work is PHPT. PHPT works, but we don't have any output. PHPT works, but we do not get any output. So we definitely have, we're definitely onto something here, but there is something blocking the extension. Okay, so let's Google. How can we, let's do file upload, extension bypass. Let's go with this one, and this one. No. Let's go with change PNG to text. No. File upload bypass. No. Let's check with Portswigger. Anything that has to do with anything web, I always look for Portswigger. Web shell upload via extension blacklist bypass. What do we have here? Well, I'm not trying to do the lab, so let's just go with the with the solution. Okay, so login, blah blah blah, upload. And burp repeater. Request and find the part of the body that relates to PHP. Make the following changes. File name to htaccess. Okay, let's try this. So let's go to that requests where we uploaded the PHP file, like so. And then let's see what it says here. Text. Okay, you know what? Let's just create a file. These two are done. I can close these and quick parentheses, take that, go into this one was the directory one. And this one was the files one. Like that. Recon over. Let's just create an htaccess file. So touch.htaccess. And what do we put in there? Add type application httpd php.lead. Love it. And we'll output that into htaccess. I'm guessing htaccess governs the configuration for the server and what type of extensions it allows and what not. Let me actually just go read what htaccess does. It's a configuration file used by Apache, and it governs the settings for what is allowed and what isn't. Not much to it. Okay, so we upload this. Buy a ticket. That worked. Let's see. Oh. And we cannot see it, yeah, because it's a hidden file. It's Apache, which is on a... Well, yeah, it's Apache, and still, even on Windows, dots files are hidden files. So yeah, it's hidden. Now, did that do something? What does it say? And I should now be able to upload .lead files. Okay, so let's try that. Now let's copy test.php and make it test.lead. Actually, no, we're not gonna just take test. We're gonna call it, first of all, pawned. No, we'll test first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Here, upload it. That should work. Test.lead. Okay, so we were able to upload this, and the file should now be here, and it should print hello world. Yes, okay, so that did work. Amazing. Amazing. So, according to Portswigger themselves, using the Portswigger, actually, let's do log. Yes, perfect. That's exactly what I want. Using this Portswigger blog, we are able to modify, let's move this up a bit. We are able to modify the htaccess Apache configuration file and allow .lead files extension files to be uploaded. We can now move on. No, sorry. We have successfully confirmed command execution. Whoa. Code execution. Let's now upload a web shell and then finally get a reverse shell. How are we going to do that? All throughout Burp. So we're going to call it pond.lead. We're going to say echo PHP. We're going to say system $_get, and then these brackets inside command, close the brackets, then this one, and upload this. This will have worked. We upload a web shell. And then we go browse to this web shell. Pond.lead cmd.whoami. And yes, that works. It becomes the same every time. You upload a web shell and then you just browse to that web shell. Experience is what gets you through this industry. You just have to hack a lot to get good at hacking, and I need to hack more to be faster with these things. So here we confirm command execution through our web shell. And then third, we get a reverse shell. How do we do that? We go here, ref shells. We take our IP. I will say, no, we'll stop with the weird ports because a antivirus EDR would detect them. This is also another thing. More harder boxes will no longer allow the stupid ports. And so let's get used to using good ports, because red teaming comes after being good at pen testing, and I definitely want to become a red teamer one day. And so I just want to get into good habits. So let's do this the good way. Which port are we going to use? 8081. There you go. Copy. Let's URL encode this. First, we take a screenshot of this shell that we're going to use. Well, yeah, wrong way around. We don't even know if this one's going to work, but let's try. We listen here on port 8081. Instead of who am I, we paste this here and see if it works. And it did. No. Yes. Okay. So that worked. Like so. All right. We are inside the machine. So let's do external. We now do internal enumeration. Let's call, yeah, enumeration. So let's bring this up. CD C users dir who am I, host name, and who am I priv, and then also who am I all, like this. This is what I will also always do. I check first how many users are there. No, sorry, did I get that? Like this. I check how many users are there on the system. Then I check who am I of these users. What are my privileges? And then what are all the privileges, all the groups as well that I have. Okay, let's make this bigger again for you guys. And check. So there is 2 users, and one is named SVC Apache and the other one is named SVC MSSQL. Now, instead of taking this at face value, because in Hack the Box, I'm sure there is a box where a user is called a certain way, but you still have to enumerate. Let's enumerate for Kerberoasting, because if I see 2 users that are service accounts, then chances are I'm being tested on exploiting service accounts, which is Kerberoasting. So let's do Kerberoasting enumeration and first verify that these are indeed service principal names. So let's go into my notes and do cooking with fire and enumerate these service principal names. So we do set spn.exe, which is a standard Windows executable, so we don't have to upload anything, and get the service principal names. And we can see we've got MSSQL. Let us now retrieve all of the tickets. So this belongs to the enumeration phase as well. I add this, I add this command, and I replace that with this. Yes, and then I retrieve all of the tickets for the domain. The domain is access.offsec, like this. This is the enumeration, like that. Let's take note. We are most probably being tested on exploitation of service accounts. So let's try Kerberoast. First, we need to enumerate the SPNs, service principal names. Service principal names. Then we download/request the TGS ticket granting system ticket by doing this. So we request the ticket, and then we retrieve all of the tickets. For said SPNs. How do we do that? Like that, and like that, and like that. And then I put the commands there. This is 3 and this is 2 first I enumerate with this command, then I retrieve the ticket with this command. There's some formatting here. Like that. And then we retrieve all of the tickets with this command. And then we get that output. So what do we do to exploit Kerberos? We can use Rubius, we can use Mimikatz, and we can use PowerView. I believe in the last videos I used Rubius, so let's use PowerView. Let's host a server, sudo python3 -m http server on port 8000 directory home foo data, because here I have a lot of utilities like Rubius and Mimikatz and PowerView in the folder, because that is the folder where Evil WinRM takes files up when you press upload, when you type upload, and so I just have them all there. And then here what I'm going to do is I'm going to do http no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go into public first, and I'm going to create a folder called temp, and this is then where I'm going to do all these things. From here I'm going to do wget http take my IP on port 8000 and upload PowerView PS1 and output it as PowerView PS1. That worked. I will then import the module PowerView PS1 like this. Yes. And then I will begin extracting all of the tickets with PowerView. Like this. Yes, okay. Yes, okay. So that. We first transfer PowerView over to the target machine, import the module, and then start enumerating the SPN to then go ahead and Kerberos. Kerberosting like that. This was enumeration, and now let's do exploitation. Like that. Let's target a specific user. I can close this. This is also part of my notes. Sorry. We are targeting this user. Perfect. So this is the hash of set user. Let's cat this to a CSV file, or export it to a CSV file. So we're going to do file, we'll call this access, like that. And then we'll take a screenshot of that and explain. We'll say first we extract the SPN first we get the service principal names. Why does my description here is wrong? We didn't extract any tickets yet. Oh, using Power View to list SPNs. There you go. Then we target a specific user and get the hash. We don't actually need to do that because inside of this command, this is in there as well. You can see. So we can just cat it right away, but I wanted to show you what the output of this would be in the format hashcat. So if we just take this exactly and copy it into a file, we can then crack it already. But with access like this, it's better, it's cleaner. And then after that, we export all the tickets to a CSV file. Let's do this like that. Let me write the commands down. Like so. And then take that screenshot one more time. And I should here have access.csv. And now let me cat access.csv. And I can either transfer it out. Yeah, I can either do a file transfer or just do this. Copy, go down to uploads. This is not uploads. Let's go to access. This is Privesk. And then touch hash Vim. No, let's do Sublime. It's already there. Hash. Oh no, I have to do Vim. Okay, so let's do Vim. Hash. Paste that there. Nothing to really delete. Actually, yes, there is. There is stuff to delete. I don't think Hashcat likes these quotation marks. That was a bit redundant because the Hashcat format does print it without all of that. So now I should have two nice hashes in there. I can now crack these. Have I said that? Fourth, we transfer this hash with whatever method. transfer or copy. To our attack machine, and can then go ahead and use hashcat to crack the hash. Let's also take it, no, here, go into our notes, on loots, on cracked, like this. And we have a user SVC, Apache, and SVC, MS SQL, like this. Let's crack this. So, I believe this is module 13,000, yeah, 13,100. So let's do hashcat -m 13,100. We'll use share word list rocku on hash, and we'll call it cracked. Oh yeah, I thought so. I thought so. Hash first, and it worked. Let's just go like this. Take a screenshot of this. Let's put a little box around cracked, and go to Privesk, and also here, and we can do this, copy it, go to Privesk, paste that there. No. Take all of this, copy it, paste it there, and here we can then say hash cat. What command did we use? This one. Like that. And then we can look at cracked, and we have a cracked password. Let's go to loot, paste that here, take that password, and paste it there. We have, man, this methodology I really like. It's just clean, and we're not trying to skip anything. I have to do this every single time with every box, and faster, because like this I don't miss anything. Then we have a cracked password. So now let's do netexec. Let's confirm that one, the creds are valid, and two, that we can use them to remote in, because remember we had WinRM. So let's try that. Let's clean this up. Let's do netexec smb -u, paste that there, get the IP address like this, and then let's do -p and this. The credentials are valid. Let's do WinRM. Ah, come on. Okay, so like this, valid, like that. We don't have access. Let's do a VMI. Access, but no access. And let's try RDP. It hangs. Okay, so that's a super no. Come on. Oh yeah, that's a no. Like that, yes. So the credentials are valid. However, we cannot use them to remote in. So what can we do? We can try and run as locally. Yeah, we can use run as. So you can either, okay, so lateral movement, you can either do through PS exec, WMI exec, all of these execs, or run as. And run as is usually the one I hate the most. So I try all the others first, and then I'll try run as if there's nothing else. So let's try getting a shell using run as. And there's a cool tool, run as CS. I have it in copy, useful, run as, executable, and then here, and paste that there. Let's run the server. Let's do wget again and do run as cs.exe, and let's also here do run as cs.exe. Will that work? Yes. Okay, how do I use run as cs.exe again? Run as cs. Yes. Let me also take this and add an external link like that. Oh, this is perfect. I love Sublime Obsidian. Yeah, this combo of Obsidian and Sublime Text is French kiss. So how do we do this? Let's go here. What does it say? Run a background process as a local user. Redirect standard in, standard out to a remote host. Let's try this. Let's listen on port 8081. Like this, that should work. Well, should we first? No, if it works, it works. I mean, I don't understand why it shouldn't work. That is how it says that I should use it, so let's just try it. Here it is trust no one. And here it's SVC MSSQL. Let's listen. That would have been too nice. It is PowerShell. That worked. You know how nice it is when things just work? This is not how it's gonna be ever. I mean, things never just work like this. I am on a hot streak right now. Who am I? yeah, that did indeed work. During the CPTS course, I spent a long time trying to get Run SCS to work. So, and learning the outcome of what I learned is that essentially there's two ways you can execute Run SCS. You can either import the module.ps1 and do invoke Run SCS, or you can run the executable. Now, there's pros and cons to running inside of memory and to not having to transfer an executable because it gets blocked. I mean, this is very much non-evasive. Yeah, non-evasive. Like any EDR would have blocked me ages ago, but OSCP doesn't test us on evasiveness. And the best way to go forward is always to import into to memory, and to then execute directly from memory so that EDRs might not notice you. But here we're not being tested on that, so I'm doing it this way. And what I was saying is, during the CPTS course, I was trying to execute it from memory the whole time, and it gave me all kinds of problems like this, and it took me ages. And in the end, I just figured, do what the command says on here. And that is why I didn't even try to test who am I. If it works, it works. And it worked. So yes, I'm trying to be faster with things. So yes, I've got that copied. The command is the following. Like that. And that worked. So we have done enumeration, privesc. We have done privesc. Let's go back to enumeration. Let's call this privesc. Let's do this, this, and then that, and this. And then we'll call this from SVC Apache, because who knows, we might have to do some more privilege escalation. So let's go into enumeration, and here the same applies. Let's call this as SVC Apache, and open a new note and call that one as SVC MSSQL, like so. Clean. All right, so let's enumerate. This one we don't need anymore, so let's go here. Let's go to cd-c there. Let's go to users. Let's right away go to MSSQL and into desktop. And here we can get the flag. Let's go to loots on cracked. We got the flag here. And then let's see. Enumeration, who am I? Hostname we know. Who am I -priv. We have different privileges. And who am I /all. Let's make this a bit smaller and take that screenshot one more time. Make it a bit bigger again. here as well, I should say, who am I /priv and who am I all. That's the output. We have different privileges. Let's compare. Before we had change notify privilege. We have that still. We had create global privilege. We don't have that. We had increase working privilege. We don't have that. And here now we have SE machine account privilege, which gives me the right to add workstations. And we have manage volume privilege. Do I have this in my notes? Manage volume privilege. Let's Google this. Let's go into my notes and say SV volume privilege jumps is a curious privilege that we do not know. Let's Google. I guess it allows me to perform volume maintenance. Let's type exploit right away. Let's not waste no time here. Ain't nobody got time for wasting time. So this exploit grants full permission on the C drive for all users on the machine. I like that. It overrides the print config DLL for system shell access. So the capacity to create a file under user control within protected directories opens a multitude of possibilities for privilege escalation. One of the relatively straightforward techniques involves replacing the print config DLL file situated at C blah 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 there with a malicious DLL. By initiating the print notify object, the service will load a nefarious print config DLL, thereby granting us privileged system shell. How do I execute the print notify object? The proof of concept says I generate a custom DLL and locate it into there, and then I initiate the print notify object by executing the following PowerShell commands. First that one, and then I should get a system shell. So let's do exactly that. So let's paste that here and say the following blog. Take that, external, take this here, no, like that. The following blog gives a description of how to exploit this privilege. Let's try. Let's take this, copy it. Let's go to privesc, and then we can say from SVC MSSQL, like that. Let's first create a malicious DLL. Let's do MSFvenom -p Windows x64 shell reverse TCP, or is it reverse shell TCP? Let's try lhost, that's RIP, and then lports, and then here we'll do 8082, then F DLL, so the file, and then we'll redirect this to malicious. No, what do we need to call it? We need to call it print config DLL. like so. Then we also need to, I guess there's an executable. Let's wget this executable, run a server. Let's go to cd c users public temp and say wget http access. No, it's not in the host file like that. Let's take IP 8000 and then we take this exploit and say we want to call it that as well. Oh, we're not in PowerShell, so let's do PowerShell EP bypass and then do that again. That worked. And then let's execute that. That seems to have worked. And what does it do? It it grants full permission on the C drive. Let's verify that. Let's verify that. We do I cackles here. Yes, okay. So let me just take some screenshots here. Now I'll explain them after. Like this. And then this. Here. And that was it. What malicious port did we use? 8082. So let's listen on 8082. But first we need to replace now that we've confirmed that we have full users permissions on that C drive, or at least in that folder. The rest doesn't really matter, but I guess it's the full C drive. Let's verify that, but we don't really need to. C. We have full permissions. That's wild. Let's now replace this DLL. Let's remove it. And sorry, let's host the server one more time. And why? Because we want to copy our own DLL. So we'll do wget http RIP on port 8000. I want to take print config DLL and I want to output it to this. Perfect. And now, what the? And now we should, oh, this is white stuck. Okay. And now we should be able to execute. Watch out for this. Let's close that. Let's close that. This and this. And that worked. We are roots. Nice. Oh my god, I think this was the most fun rather hard, but and most precise way of taking notes and everything and routing the box. Let's not jump ahead and quickly finish explaining everything. So we first, what do? We transfer the exploit executable. Then we replace the what was it? DLL with our own malicious DLL, and then we execute the object like it said here. I can just copy all of that because and this I can put between, no, not like that, like that. Yes, and so how did we transfer it? We know that, but I would have to, no, I can't be asked to do that. The msfnm command. Like this, there. This one I do want though. No, just this, like that. No, I'm not happy with that. Call me OCD on care, and then we initiate that. And this was and execute it. We replace that, and then we initiate the object. That's it. And we can then go into users, administrator, desktop, bring this up there, and we have the flag. And we have now very cleanly executed and exploited access. How do we do that? We exploited a website by uploading a malicious PHP file, but only after changing the configuration file through a .htaccess, a file that we were able to upload, and add a type to allow .leet extension files, which was essentially to bypass the blacklist on extensions. Then as we did that, we were then able to upload a web shell, through that web shell get a reverse shell, and log in as SVC Apache. Because there was only two users, SVC Apache and SVC MSSQL, likelihood of us having to exploit something to do with service accounts was high. And then we tried curb roasting, because inside of Active Directory, curb roasting comes back a lot. It's one of the big techniques, and these boxes test us on it. So we curb roasted and first enumerated all service principal names, blah blah yada yada yada. Did the curb roasting attack and were able to get a hash for the service MSSQL user. Crack that hash, we got the password, trust no one, and we then confirmed that we were not allowed to remote in through WMI or WinRM, so we had to use run as CS. That worked, and we were then able to run as MS-SQL. We enumerated one more time and noticed we had different privileges. We googled one of those privileges and saw that there was an exploit for one of these privileges that you can see very easily here on GitHub, and thus exploit that and get a reverse shell as root. I actually agree with OffSec in the sense that this was a intermediate box and not a very hard box like the community says, because the community sometimes can be wrong. But either way, this was super fun. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, share, like the video if you liked the video. Ask any questions you have, whatever is unclear. I am very active in the comments and we reply to every single comment. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for subscribing. We've cracked 1,000 in 2 months, so that's great. Let's go forward. Let's go to 5,000 and beyond, hopefully. I will continue hacking a lot more now. I'll try and make a video every 2 days because some other priorities take priority as well, and I do them every day. But as much as I have time, I'll try and make a video at least once a week, or if I can, twice a week. And with that being said, this has been Access. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.